So in these last few videos, I've been trying to condense all of this information for all of you into what the essential understanding is, what a monad is, what architects are, what splitting duality, or more correctly, reforming it into a singularity of taking ways of thinking and flipping them around, and basically shedding all of the programmings that have occurred throughout your life to have you think in a bipolar way, and to go into where those came from and how to correct your course and to understand who you are and how to manifest things. And this is through fasting, and we get into the magical arts and everything else. This is all the things that I've been teaching, but this is the essential idea, the most basic essence of becoming a singularity. And so here's a couple ideas that we'll start with. And it has to do with cartographers and architects, because I really enjoy the words and I enjoy what they mean. It's the one and the zero as well. Here we go. Playing with this little new way here. See what happens. So a cartographer is a map maker, and an architect. Well, an architect is basically the same person. It's the same idea. Architects and cartographers are doing the same exact thing. They're making blueprints. They're building worlds. They're creating something. And everyone has an opportunity to be one of those things. And here you see me playing with this here, trying to get my pen here to work. And because this is a new way of doing something, it takes a second to figure out how it's done. Let's see if I want to be on this page here. Let's try this. There we go. That works a little better. So we're doing this in real time. Here it is, because none of these do I ever have a plan of action for what I'm doing for you and what I'm exploring. Somebody asked me a question and always answered from the bounty of whatever information I have. And if I don't have it directly, a quick meditation helps. So if we look at this word architect and cartographer, this is the word, which is the arc. You can throw the H in there, but that's silent, so it doesn't matter. And the word arc and the word car are the same thing. And car has to do with the movement, the vehicle that you use, the arc of light. That's the arc of energy that comes from the sun. The car is the pattern of movement. It's the same word. And then as we go farther, what we notice is an architect. You have an eye. There's your eye. And you have tect or text. And in cartographer, you have cart 2 or arc 2 graph. And a graph is text. To make graffiti, it's text. It's the same word. And her is matter. See, the matter is where the mother comes from. It's the earth. It's the physical format. So, if you would watch my last video, the idea of everything is switching our idea from left and right to up and down. And so the idea of what her is and what matter is the physical earth down here. It's all down here. And that arc is the light. It's the avenue to get to what her is, and her being the material, matter, mother, world. You create it through an arc of text. So we've lived in this place on this planet with a bunch of people, magicians, cartographers, architects that have basically given us maps that weren't necessarily true. And if we look at these maps, here we go, open these up here, and we consider what we've been given and what might be closer to the truth, some interesting things occur. So this has to do with the monad. We'll get there in a second. This perception of the map that we have, the map that we've been given of our planet being a globe. A globe on here? Did I put one here? Well, anyway, so this idea of a globe gives us a polar thinking, a dual thinking, meaning a north and a south. There's it changes the way that the mind may observe the world. It could go left, it could go right. There's a fork in the road. And it becomes dualistic. The entire implementation of the perception of dualism is given to us from birth. It's given to us in false ways. You have two eyes, you have two hands. Nobody talks about your singular body. Nobody talks about the single spine, the single life that you live, or the single focus of your attention. They tell you left and right, right and wrong, orange and yellow, or excuse me, orange and blue. They tell you all these supposed opposites. And that comes out in what the globe is. You have a North Pole and a South Pole, and this is bipolar. So people on a planet that have what you'd call bipolarism, schizophrenia, these types of disorders, it comes out of the idea of what the globe is, what the planet is. It was planned to put people into bipolar notions, keeps people confused. Now, if we change that up and we look at the planet as it is, at the plane as it is, and we flatten it out, some really interesting things occur to our state of consciousness and what we think and how we think. So if we take this monad here, because we know the monad is the 12 around the 1, it's the clock, it's the sun symbol, it's the symbol for gold. By putting yourself as a singularity in the middle, it starts to look a little bit like this flat earth map. And in fact, a lot bit. Looks like a clock. And it even looks like even the maps that they give you of what they tell you is Saturn and Jupiter and Uranus and all of these other planets that supposedly exist whipping around through a heliocentric model, which makes you deliver yourself unto the god and worship the sun, not realizing at all that you came through the sun and you're on the other side of that sun. So there's no worshiping of anything. There's no getting on a ship of war. And you start to look at this map and you notice some interesting things. Could the flat earth look more like this? And that at these different rings, then this is just a thought idea to increase the way that you may perceive what a singularity is. So in the middle is where they put the sun. In the middle is where they tell you, even on a flat earth, they tell you, oh, go to the center of Mount Meru or go to where the magnetism or the Aurora Borealis is. And that's it's an outwardly expression of what is internal, meaning there's a singular source of something. Even if you look at the sun model, even on this flat two-dimensional surface, you're getting the center, the ray of light in the middle. And that has to do with and so if we look at this chakra system here, got your red, your orange, your yellow, your green, blue, indigo, violet, and that's a single pole. If you were to put that on top of here, that's the idea that you get of your spine, of the singularity of what is self, and there's no dualism, there's no duality. It's just taking seemingly opposite electric and magnetic forces and binding them into self. And that's not just some esoteric weird principle that people like to talk about in woo-hoo ha-ha communities of just, etheric things that nobody can really tell you what's going on. There's physical things, there's mental things you can do. Like mentally, just the perception of you singularly sitting there having an experience, that in and of itself is one step. Cleansing your body of all of the toxin and the weird things that are in it that are actually imbalancing you. That's another step. Not consuming the blood plasma of other creatures. That's another step. Because when you start bringing on the karma of whatever it is other than yourself, you're not bringing on, you're bringing on a spiritual level, a mental level, but most appropriately, so everybody understands it, the karma is literally whatever is inside of that blood, whatever's inside of that meat, whatever's inside of that plant. Now there's things that are expansive and there's things that are directive, meaning that specifically if you take a certain substance, it will have you directed towards one energetic system. Now if in that way, that's saying like um, certain chemicals will push people in a certain direction, where other things are immense, like a plant life. It has a wide variety of energetic signatures within it, which opens up possibilities. So it's like taking a piece of meat. If there's residual piece of that meat, if there's a residual salt, if there's a residual, and you could speak of it etherically in an energetic way, which exists, but you could also think of it in a physical way, which exists as well. You put that into your body, now it's in your blood, and it gets lodged into your system somewhere, lodged into your brain even. And now all of a sudden you have misfirings and imbalances, and it puts you into a dual system. Now by cleansing all of those things out, there's no polarity. There's only one pole. There's only yourself. It's the one and the zero. I'm getting away from these maps and looking at the maps that we are given and just going, no, they're not all correct. And in fact, some of them have been put out there to misguide and take people off of the search for whatever it is that they're looking for. And so if we start to consider where it starts, and this is always what I'm trying to get to with people, is looking at the numbers 1 and the number 0. And I like this right here. Here we go. Is this book I just noticed. It's called Maps of the Imagination, the writer as the cartographer. And this goes into the magic that I'm always trying to express to people. Again, it always comes out of the mind, and the first thing was the mind. There's no escaping that idea. Anybody that's a materialist, if you think you came from material, you're going to have a very hard time considering reality. When you time, even the science that people hang so heavily onto claims there's 99% empty space. We still haven't found what it is yet. Oh, we found the God particle, the atom, and we're going to go through that forever, infinitely, because the source of everything is mental, is mind. And outside of, and that's not the mind like somebody says, oh, it's in your brain. No, the larger soul mind. And that's the weaving web of consciousness that is everything. It's everywhere. That's the big map right there. But when we're given these tiny little two-dimensional maps on a piece of paper, and they don't exactly represent anything, as Alan Watts says, the map or the menu is not the meal. The map is not the territory. But we can get closer to making maps inside of our head and creating a reality, and then secondarily, if we chose to, writing down the map. But again, this is not a necessity. This is why you can walk around all day long and never write anything down and have any. You can have all sorts of different creations occur. This is why you can have dreams and wake up and walk into them, because writing it down is not a necessity. It's a tool for some people and it can be used. But again, it's all about making the map and becoming a cartographer yourself, becoming an architect yourself. Now, this is getting into this 1 and 0, and it's the most basic fundamental principle that everybody needs to understand, because within the 0 is the 1, and within the 1 is the 0. It's just how you look at it. Because the one on its standing up, it looks like a line, and the 0 looks like a donut. But if you flip them both on their heads, they look opposite. One is a pole and one is a hole. It's just this idea that we consider this as a masculine concept. We consider the 1 as a masculine concept, and we consider the 0 as a female. And so this is the pole, that's the hole. But and that's what the division becomes. There's the division. Okay, now it's two different things. Not at all, considering that if this doesn't go into here, the next generation doesn't occur. So within that, every notion that anyone has about separateness or about these people that are out here, speaking in a lovely way about females and what they are. But then they go so far. Oh, the woman created everything. They've gone on to this. Well, the woman can create on her own. And then then we've had this whole society that has been patriarchal for so long that they dress up as women and they denounce the woman, and they've both gone the wrong directions. And so we even got to the point where this philosophy of everything came out of the great black mother. Well, yeah, everything came out of the earth, but without the expression of what the male energetic electric force is. Just like in your brain, you could have all the water you want, but if you don't have any sunlight, you don't have an experience. There's nothing. There's no memory. And with the heat and no water, with the sunlight and no water, where is it going to travel to? Where is it going to? What is it going to hit? What is going to make something occur? So if this the male dynamic, is spitting out the electricity, and this is a container or a vessel for the electricity, without the opposite, it doesn't, and again, it's not the opposite. Without it coming together, it doesn't produce the balance of the triangulation or experience, which holds on to the memory. So it's all about rewiring, getting rid of the notion that ones and zeros are different, because ones and zeros create your entire experience. I mean, that's. But even looking at it from that, people get into, oh, well, it's all a binary system. No, it's not a binary. It's a singular system, because it's the same thing. It doesn't exist without each other. This is why you can get a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5, and we can go on infinitely with numbers. It's just more division to the thing. So it's one is the expressive, one is the, here it is, there's the 0, and there expresses reality out of it. But if you don't put anything in the 0, there's nothing coming out of it. And if you have the something and nothing to go into, there's no experience. So anything this is why numbers become numbing. Okay, I've already expressed 0 and 1. There you go. There's everything you need to know. 0 and 1. It's done. But then oh, what about 2? What about 3? No, it's in there. No, what about 4? No, it's inside of there. But then we go, oh no, the 0 doesn't exist. Just 1 exists. Just I. Just the I. That's all that exists. Just the eyeball. Whatever you might like. But it's about collapsing these numbers. Numb. You become numb. You play with numbers all day, you become numb. Collapsing those to the 1 and the 0, and then looking at the whole texture of reality from a singularity standpoint, and what comes out of that 1 and the 0. Everything. Anything that you want to create. All of it. And then you architect whatever you like. All of it. Whatever you like. There's your focus right in the middle. Right in the middle there. And you have the possibility of spitting out all of reality. Whatever it is you like, in any way you like. So what else did I got? What else we got here? See, it's like this. Here's the vortex. If it hasn't made sense already, let's look at a couple more things. So if we've got these vortexes. This vortex on the left is the same vortex on the right, which is the plane that we live on. So the earth that we live on is this flat thing right here. It's the flatness that's in between the two vortexes. So it's here. Here is the devil plane, or the demonic plane, or the mother, the matter. This is Julius Caesar, JC. And this is the same because it's reflective, Jesus Christ. And this is the Father. The Father is Fa, my fear her, the fire. It's up here. And here's the plane that we live on. Here's everything down here. This is a demon. This is why Mother has been demonized. And this is Father. And none of these, there was all allegory and was played out and thought of in a way that wasn't true. So these still exist in this way. It probably will always exist this way, but people will understand it differently. So the Father, the fire that's up in the air, the mystic, the Jesus Christ, the thing that's coming out of the top here is angels. Everybody always talks about these angels, right? Who are they? Archangels, Michael, Gabriel. What's up with all these dudes? And then we got demons that are always dudes, right? Then we moved into the area where there's these women with the wings on the back that become angelic creatures. And then the demons all were men. You never see any demonic women. And then we flipped it around and things got changed. What's really being said? If you have a demon that has angelic wings, the demon is spiraling up. The energy is vortexing up. And if you have the fallen angel, the angel is coming down and it's meeting in the middle. Now you can have angels that were demons going up, and you can have angels that were falling down becoming demonic, and everything in between, and whatever you are to express where you are in this vortex. You can get into wherever you'd like to get in that vortex. But the expression has to come out of a singularity. But what happens is during this entire process and learning language and the maps that we've been given and everything's been hoisted upon us in dualism, duality. In the dual means to duel or dual means two, means to split. We've sat over here and over here, and we've taken and we said, nope, it's this way and this way, and everything wobbles just like the Earth. They tell you it's got a 30 what a 32 degree wobble. Well, they put that in your mind. Oh no, we're not on a flat stationary surface. And here's the single center. Here's you. There's you right there. No, they tell you you're on this ball and it's wobbling and it's spinning, and then I wonder what's going to happen with your left and right brain. It's wobbling and spinning, and there's bipolarism, and then you split your brain over to here and over to here, masculine and feminine aspects.